You're sitting in your car after work, staring at your phone screen where your banking app glows with numbers that make your chest tighten. The mortgage payment went through this morning. The credit card minimum is due tomorrow. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a voice whispers the same question it always does. What if something goes wrong? What if the economy crashes? What if you lose your job? What if you never have enough? This isn't just worry talking. This is fear, and it's been quietly writing the story of your financial future for longer than you realize. Every dollar you've saved or spent, every investment you've avoided or embraced, every financial decision that's shaped your life has been filtered through this ancient emotion that evolved to keep you alive, but now might be keeping you poor. Before we begin, remember what follows isn't advice, but reflection. A way to understand how money moves through thought and emotion. There's an invisible engine running inside your mind every time you encounter money. This engine doesn't care about spreadsheets or compound interest or rational financial planning. It cares about one thing: survival. And the fuel that powers this engine is fear. Not the dramatic movie theatre kind of fear, but something quieter and more persistent. The fear that whispers you don't have enough, that tomorrow might bring disaster, that taking any financial risk could feel emotionally dangerous. This fear operates like gravity, constantly pulling your decisions toward what feels safe, even when safe might actually be the most dangerous choice of all. Scientists call this loss aversion. And it's perhaps the most powerful force shaping how humans interact with money. When researchers studied this phenomenon, they discovered something remarkable. The pain of losing $10 feels roughly twice as intense as the joy of gaining $10. Your brain literally experiences financial loss as a threat to your survival, triggering the same neural pathways that helped your ancestors avoid predators on ancient savannas. But here's the paradox that defines modern financial life. The very mechanism designed to protect you from danger now creates the greatest danger to your long-term prosperity. Think about the last time you considered investing money in something new. Maybe it was stocks, maybe real estate, maybe starting a business. What happened in your mind during those moments? Most likely a cascade of worst-case scenarios began playing like a horror movie trailer. You imagined losing everything. You pictured yourself explaining to family members how you gambled away your security. You felt the weight of potential regret pressing down on your chest. This isn't weakness or lack of intelligence. This is your fear engine running at full capacity, doing exactly what evolution designed it to do. But evolution didn't prepare you for a world where money grows over time, where taking calculated risks becomes essential for building wealth, where playing it too safe actually guarantees you'll fall behind. The same psychological mechanism that once helped humans survive in dangerous environments now causes them to make financial decisions that slowly erode their future security. Loss aversion doesn't just influence how you think about money, it rewrites the entire equation of financial decision-making, making you willing to accept smaller, certain gains rather than pursue larger probable ones, causing you to hold on to declining investments too long while selling winning ones too early. This fear shows up most dramatically during market downturns, when panic selling transforms individual anxiety into collective financial destruction. During the 2008 financial crisis, millions of people watched their retirement accounts shrink and made the same fear-driven choice. They sold everything at the worst possible moment. They traded temporary emotional relief for permanent financial damage, locking in losses that might have recovered if they'd simply waited. The neurological research reveals why this happens. When markets decline, your brain interprets falling portfolio values as immediate threats, flooding your system with stress hormones that make rational thinking nearly impossible. The cruel irony is that the people who would benefit from long-term growth options often feel the most paralyzed by fear. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, if you're worried about next month's bills, if you've never had significant money saved, the prospect of investing feels impossibly dangerous. But staying in cash, avoiding all investment risk, often increases vulnerability to inflation over long periods, historically speaking. Fear makes you choose the certain loss of inflation over the uncertain possibility of investment gains. Your personal finance psychology shapes every monetary choice you make, often in ways you don't consciously recognize. The person who keeps $50,000 in a savings account earning 1% interest isn't being conservative. They're being controlled by fear. The fear that the stock market might crash, the fear that real estate might decline, the fear that any choice other than the most predictable one might lead to catastrophe. Meanwhile, historically diversified markets over long periods have shown potential to grow significantly, though outcomes are never guaranteed. The difference between struggling in retirement and living comfortably. Fear doesn't just affect what you do with money, it affects how you think about money, how you talk about money, how you teach your children about money. It creates entire family legacies built on financial timidity, passed down like inherited DNA that programs each generation to make the same fear-based choices that keep wealth just out of reach. When you look at your childhood memories involving money, you'll likely find moments that still echo in your financial decisions decades later. Maybe it was watching your parents argue about bills late at night, their voices carrying through thin walls while you pretended to sleep. Maybe it was the shame of having your card declined at the grocery store, the cashier's patient smile making the humiliation burn deeper. Or perhaps it was the opposite, growing up where money seemed endless, only to discover as an adult that abundance can create its own form of financial paralysis. These early emotional imprints don't just fade away. They crystallize into beliefs that operate like invisible software, running quietly in the background of every financial choice you make. Before we begin, remember what follows isn't advice but reflection, a way to understand how money moves through thought and emotion. Fear operates like a financial thermostat in your mind, automatically adjusting your comfort level with risk and reward. Just as a thermostat maintains room temperature without your conscious involvement, this fear-based system regulates how much financial uncertainty you can tolerate before emotional alarms begin sounding. The fascinating thing about this internal thermostat is that it was calibrated not by rational analysis or careful study of market history, but by random emotional experiences, often from childhood, that have nothing to do with your current financial reality or actual risk tolerance. Understanding how fear shapes your financial future isn't about conquering that fear or pretending it doesn't exist. It's about recognizing its voice when it speaks, acknowledging its ancient wisdom while questioning whether its guidance serves your modern needs. Fear will always be part of your financial story, but awareness transforms it from an invisible puppet master into a counselor whose advice you can choose to follow or gently decline. When you see fear for what it truly is, you begin writing a different ending. If this changed how you see money, subscribe for more calm reflections that help you build your own engine of understanding.